Sorry, I'm
You only
sorry.
have 5 minutes.
I'm sorry I'm late. All right, what's new? What's going on?
Nothing's new. I went snowboarding
What? What?
Sunday.
Oh, how Lake Louise? Where?
Nakiska.
Oh,
Like,
Nakiska in Kananaskis.
it was freezing. It was like minus 20
Yeah,
something.
this cold. It's cold.
And I got minor frostbite that day.
Well, yeah, no kidding. That's a bad day to snowboard.
And there was nobody. It was great. It was a great day to
So
learn.
the chairlifts were fast, but it was cold as hell.
One chairlift was
So,
closed.
so it must have been minus 25 up there, which is
It was
minus
chilly.
14 in Fahrenheit.
It's
Crazy.
cold. Yeah, so I got a little bit of frostbite, which
Yeah,
hurt that night.
yeah, of course.
Um, and then I got to practice my snowboarding.
Yes. Did you rent a snowboard?
No, I have my own.
Do you? Okay.
Uh, I've known Mutsu for 9 years, and we have gone snowboarding a total of 3 times.
Well, he's been more than you, but together.
Me,
Uh,
I've only been three
did you beat
times.
him on the Black Diamond?
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah, the closed Black Diamond.
It was all closed.
Yeah, the big ones are closed now.
What day on Sunday? So even though it was Sunday, it was so cold nobody wanted to go skiing. Probably.
Yeah, there's different zones of parking lots, right? The first zone wasn't even half full.
So all the workers were probably freezing their butts off.
Yeah,
That's too bad. Oh
it
well.
was chilly,
Chilly
but
is an understatement.
a great day to learn.
Oh, cool. So he taught you all the stuff that you needed to
Yeah,
know?
he's like, "Oh, put all the weight in your heels," and I'm like, "Okay." And I think I'm pretty sporty.
Sporty?
Yeah, but when it comes to board sports, like I tried
Okay, so
surfing,
okay, snowboarding, surfing. Okay.
or skateboarding.
Yep.
I really suck at it.
Okay.
Probably because I just didn't grow up with that kind of sport in my life.
Yeah, I really didn't teach you that kind of thing.
No. So, yeah, that those kind of things I suck at. So snowboard, I was trying to get the feel for it, and let's just say I got a whiplash a few
Yeah,
times.
that's all right. That's all right. I didn't do anything. I just cleaned.
Yeah, because it was cold.
It was too cold. It's so cold. It's been cold for a while, and I get frustrated because it wrecks your house. You get the condensation around your windows freezes. It just causes all sorts of problems. I don't like it when it gets this
It's
cold.
so cold. And then the number of car crashes I've seen is
Gets really
insane.
icy, like the cars stop and they slide, so it makes it really icy. Then it warms up a little bit when the exhaust from the exhaust, then it freezes. So all the intersections and stuff, just a big fat disaster.
Yeah.
So I see people spin out, right? Near our house we have a four-way stop, but one of the stops like it's on an incline, and so front wheel drive only cars can't get up. And so they're always slipping, sliding backwards.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the buses can't get up
Buses
either.
can't get up there either. So our car's four-wheel drive plus winter tires are all-wheel drive. Ours is four-wheel drive, but it also has all-wheel. You have to have that, otherwise you're not going to get anywhere. I
No,
don't know how people would just front-wheel drive get around. It's kind of
I
crazy.
think you just have to avoid those kind of things.
You just have to be careful.
Ugh.
And
Anyway,
then people put front like winter tires only on the front.
what the heck?
Winter tires aren't just for the traction of the driving tires; they're also for braking on the back tire. Like I'm just like people, but they do because they're cheap. So you don't want to spend another $400 to put winter tires on the back.
Yikes.
Crazy, but whatever.
That's dangerous for other people around you.
Well, no, there are some people don't even have winter tires, right? Lots of
I know
people don't.
somebody, she went through Alberta winter last year without winter
Well,
tires,
and a lot of people do.
and she's crazy.
Yeah, no, no. A lot of people can't afford winter tires, so they don't. What I put on my car, they don't last as long. But what I put on my car is not all weather. I put all no, not all. What is it?
You have
All
all season
season?
tires.
Is it all season or all weather? I can't remember, but it has the snow mark. So for my insurance, it gets a little cheaper. But they're a little softer than normal summer tires, but but I don't have to change them out, and they're still considered winter tires. They just don't last as long.
Which
I
is
have
fine.
found.
Yeah.
So instead of every 5 years going to get new tires, I have to go get new tire or 100,000 kilometers or 120. I have to go get new tires at 85, 90. So 30,000 clicks less. And I don't drive that much. Right. So it's all right.
Yeah.
Anyway, but
Um,
yep,
so the question.
the question.
So I was talking to Mitsu while we were getting ready to come here. I had a topic in mind, but he was like, "Well, your dad's always talking about when I retire, or what I'm getting, how I'm getting ready to retire." So he said, "Ask him what he's gonna do when he retires.
Oh, good
Where are you
question.
gonna be?
I'm gonna
What are
get
you
fat.
gonna do?" Please don't.
So
Not your favorite.
retirement is a math problem. And what you can do in retirement is largely a math problem. Does that make sense?
Okay, wait.
Okay.
Let's say math isn't involved.
Well, it has to be. Because if you say math isn't involved, okay, well, I got $1 billion. I can do anything I want.
Okay, that was a bad question.
Right? Okay. So let's say I have three or four or five, let's say five. Let's say I have $5 million to retire comfortably when I'm 60. What am I going to do to keep busy? Here's the reality. If you don't stay busy, you will die.
Yeah, because you're not using your brain.
Yeah, your body gives up. So, um, I would like to do a couple of things. One is I would actually like to continue working, but on my terms. So, if I want to work at where I'm working now, I'm going to work there, but I am not going to get stressed out about stuff at all. Oh, yeah, okay. Well, if you want to fire. So that wouldn't go over very well because it would only take, and I'm not the type of person that would just let things hang. So I would finish them, but I would be very selective about the projects that I took on, which means that a company, a high, like a high paced, um, intense company like the one I work for now probably wouldn't keep me around. Okay, so what are my other options? Well, my other options are to go do something I enjoy, work at a gun store, teach kids how to hunt, go like at the hunter education, right? Um, volunteer at places like a shooting range or a gun. Everything evolves around hunting or guns, but you have to find something to do to volunteer to make up time, and it should be something that you enjoy. So I would do that. That would also leave me enough time to hunt or shoot, but also enough time to travel with your mother. So you right, so you can go to different countries and you can travel cheap, or if you have money, you can travel expensive. But that's why. But everything I just talked about becomes a math problem.
Okay, but okay. What do you want to do though?
What do I want to do? I would love to teach people how to hunt and handle firearms.
You said you want to go on a trip with
Well, I don't necessarily want to travel, but your mother wants to travel.
where do you want? Oh, wait,
I
I
don't want to
know.
go anywhere.
Turkey. She wants to go to
Oh,
Turkey.
jeez. Your mother in Turkey. Yeah, we could go to Turkey, sure.
She wants to go to Turkey.
Trump's going to take over the Middle East, so we could Gaza, so we could go to Gaza on a trip, I suppose.
Oh my god. That's all I know. I think that's the only place. Oh, she wants to go to Europe,
Well, she wants to go to Europe,
but
right?
Kayla's gonna go hopefully.
So,
So
Europe, you can go. There are cheap ways to get to Europe. There are expensive ways to get to Europe. There's Asia. We've only been to a few countries in Asia. They're cheaper to travel to. A little bit more dangerous. Not dangerous, probably the wrong
depends
word.
on
A little bit more challenging.
where you go
Yeah,
in Asia. But that's everywhere
yeah.
though.
The point is, so what I've realized from my other friends that have retired is, um, getting to retirement is you have to be planful, but everything else that they've said is, transitioning into retirement is needs to be planful.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you're in retirement, you literally have to be planful about what you're going to do for your week. Volunteering at your church, volunteering at your hospital, volunteering somewhere. And he said it actually takes work to volunteer,
Mm.
right? You have to go find it. You have to get all the police records and everything to make sure you can volunteer. You have to have money, depending on what you're volunteering for.
It gives you purpose.
Gives you purpose. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to do it. What people don't understand is that, the average age is 72. So if you retire at
For
70,
for what? 72 for what?
72, average age of life expectancy is 72,
Okay.
74, somewhere in there. So if you retire at 65, you got 7 years. That's it. Right? So some people don't mind that
Unless you're Japanese and live until you're
until you're
100.
100. And then you, But a lot of Japanese people are now retiring at 65, but getting part-time jobs.
Mm.
Um, and they'll just to stay busy, right? I think part of the Japanese government's thing about the population is falling, so they don't have workers, so they're getting older ladies, older men in their 80s to work on the production line of whatever,
Mm.
right? Use them, and they want to work. So I would probably do something like that. Just
Yeah.
just work somewhere where I don't care.
Yeah.
Just to have human connection, make a little bit of money,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, when I used to work at the liquor store, I knew the guy who he retired but had nothing else to do, so he took his wine sommelier
Yep.
course
All
and
the courses
then
you wanted to take, yeah.
just worked part-time and
Yep.
he just loved wine.
Well,
He loves wine.
yeah. Well, so here's the crazy part, right? So when the retirement age back in in the 30s, or maybe a little before that, I can't quite remember. Back when the retirement age was determined to be 62 or 64, the average life expectancy was only 58, right? And so people were, sorry, let me go back. When pensions and Canada Pension and those pension schemes would kick in, would be at 64. But the average life expectancy was less than, so it was truly a safety net. Now people live a lot longer, and now they have to stretch their money if they retire at 64. And maybe they live till they're 80. When they have 20 years of money, you have to have 20 years.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of money.
Plus inflation.
Well, plus inflation. Now, when you first retire, you're going to spend a lot of money, and then as you get closer to 80, you're going to eat like $200 worth of food a month, right? And that's all. So your expenses actually look like a mountain. They go up after you retire, and then they come down.
Mm.
And so by the time you're 80 or 90, you have no expenses. In the States, I would. Well, no, I would say depending on the country you live in, medical would probably be the biggest expense that you have. And
Yeah.
if you don't have kids or anybody around to help you or be with you, you're gonna be freaking lonely,
Yeah.
right?
That would be
But
lonely.
even then, if I'm 80 or 90 and my kids can't come to see me or don't want to come see me all the time, I wouldn't blame you. I might gripe about it, but I wouldn't. You got your own life to live, right?
Yeah.
So,
Well, you said you don't want to live until you're 90, so
if I'm healthy, I would. I don't care. If I'm healthy and have something to do,
then you gotta start moving.
I know, I'm a fat bastard.
You gotta start moving, and I tell you every time.
I have to go to the gym. I just have to.
I know, and you still haven't taken that first step.
I know. How about Mount Royal? I'll go over there.
Oh my god. I'm not gonna even start this conversation. It's gonna make me angry.
Part of the problem is I'm so fat, I'm embarrassed to go to the gym. No, I'm just joking.
I was gonna say, I don't
care.
think you are.
I don't care. And I'm not fat shaming, but look, it's a challenge to go to the gym when you haven't done it for a long time. It just is. So I have to pay
Yeah, because you're a
to
newbie.
go. No, it's not about newbie. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a police officer. So when I was in high school, all through high school, I worked out.
Yeah, but you're a newbie again.
It's a different type of exercise.
Yeah,
right?
compared to your 20s.
I want to
and your
build
50s.
muscle because building muscle will help your frame support itself as you get older. Cardio is not that big of a deal. It's the muscle.
And I'm telling you to do Pilates to start off, and you won't do it.
Well, find me a Pilates course. Let's go.
I did.
I don't want to look on YouTube. I have to go somewhere. I have to go somewhere.
Okay.
I'm not going to do it at home.
Okay.
It's not going to work.
Okay. Then I did.
You know what I'm going to do? Instead of I'm going to buy a Peloton bike. Bet you that would work. Because they have courses, right?
I don't know.
Anyway, that's what I'm going to do. I just decided I'm going to go spend $5,000 on a Peloton bike so it can gather dust over in the corner.
That's great.
Right? But having said that, yeah, you have to stay healthy if you want to live that long. And if you want to hunt and do the things that I do, yeah, you have to be healthy. You can't. It's difficult to hunt when you're not capable of moving around.
Yeah.
Although
it
the hunting I do,
relies
I just sit in a chair for 8 hours and just watch a cut line. So maybe it's not so bad.
I don't know. If you don't have the muscle for it, I don't think you would have the stamina for sitting down for so long.
You know what I also might do? I've also considered when I'm 59 and retired, if I have enough money, is going back, just getting an online MBA or something. Something that doesn't cost a lot of money. MBAs are a dime a dozen, so I just get the cheapest one just to get the letters. And then just go teach at a small community college or,
Oh, yeah, you talked about this
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that would be fun. I enjoy teaching. But it doesn't have to be just business. Like I would like to teach young people things that I've learned in my career, like outside of book learning, right? You have a lot of people that go to university and they learn from professors, but those professors a lot of times don't have any experience. They're professors. They have their PhD, and how do they get it? Well, they've been in school for 30 years, but they've never actually worked anywhere. Not all, but a lot, right? And so I would like to tell stories that would relate to, if I have any, that would relate to what they're studying and working on and how it applies in real life.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think I would like to do.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
So, yeah, I think so. It's going to be a challenge, right? If you have too much money, you're going to get taxed. If you don't have enough, you're going to be poor and eat cat food.
Yeah, that won't be fun either.
So.
And you don't have any kids to support you.
What?
And you don't have any kids that will support you.
I don't have any. I think the dog might support me, but I don't have any kids that will support me. Hey, there's nothing I would like more than to have my children wealthier than I am, or become wealthier than me, so that number one, I don't have to worry about you, but number two, I can just live my retirement without worrying about legacy.
Yeah.
Leaving, like, right? So, but then again, it depends. We'll see.
Yeah.
I got 8 or 9 years until I retire, so we'll see what happens. Maybe the whole world goes to hell in a handbasket and it doesn't matter. So maybe, who knows? But
I guess we'll see.
I guess we will.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are you gonna do? How are you preparing for retirement in your 20s?
We were talking about me preparing, but what am I gonna do? If I had $1 billion, I would travel the world.
No. Question. Okay. What are you doing now?
We already talked about this, so we don't need to repeat it.
We did?
We
See, I'm
talked
getting
about
older.
this.
I can't remember what I talked about.
We talked about the TFSA and savings and debt.
No,
So
well, okay,
I don't
but
want to repeat myself.
I'm not talking about finances. I'm talking about what are you doing to, if you could retire when you're 40, what are you going to do for 40 years? Forget the finance part.
Yeah, if I'm going to retire in 40, that's less than 20 years.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Or 45, right?
Okay.
So there are a lot of people out there that do FIRE, like they save so much, they live so frugally that they can retire at 45 with like $3 or $4 million.
That's Moose's goal.
What the hell are you going to do for the rest of your life? You better have something to do.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't thought that far. I'm just financially, I'm doing what I can, but that mindset hasn't really kicked in because I'm only 25. So I don't know. But if I had $1 billion, I'd definitely travel.
But travel where?
I think I'd get one of those private tours and go to those dangerous countries.
What? Like Africa, somewhere?
Like somewhere in Africa or those dangerous parts of South America. Just like get those private tours. They'll just take you to places and get to see things that a lot of people don't get to see.
Yeah. Like look for the rarest, most out of popularity type places, but that are cool to go to and go to them.
Yeah.
That,
But not too dangerous where I'm risking my life, but dangerous as in like it's risky enough that not a lot of tourists go out of their way
like
to do it.
Afghanistan.
I don't that one's scary, but I don't think there's anything to do over there. Especially being a woman, I don't think there's
I
anything
wouldn't go
for me
to
to
Afghanistan for all the tea in Afghanistan.
do. There's a lot of tea, and it has.
Some places in South America, like I would like to go
Yeah.
to South America.
But I would like to get those private tours, like going to Africa and get the safari tours, but the private ones.
Well, Africa's not dangerous.
I didn't say it was,
I
but
thought you meant dangerous places.
no, nothing that risks. Like I know you can go to the safaris and look at it, but like That'd be pretty cool to be treated like a royal.
Yeah, I think so. Right. So there's all sorts of different things you can do. I think that what because it's a math problem, people end up not doing the math, and then what they want to do in retirement, whether it's crazy like what you're not crazy, but something really interesting like what you're talking about, or maybe it's just sitting on a beach somewhere. In any case, the math has to be done, and the preparation has to start when you're 20 or 30. It can't start when you're 50 or 55.
It's too late.
That's too late. And a lot of people don't. And that's what a lot of people do.
Yeah.
Right. So if you are 55 and just figuring, and you have these grand ideas about what you want to do when you retire, and retirement's only 10 years away, and you have $10,000 to your name, you're not retiring at 65. You're just not. And you're eating cat food, and you're eating frozen pizza.
Unless you're working.
Unless you're working. And now you're working till you're 85. Why? You might live longer, but man, are you going to have a crappy life.
Yeah.
You're poor. You're broke. Right? A lot of people, that's happening to a lot of people right now.
Which is unfortunate. I mean, they're not taught. They're not taught that stuff. They're not taught to think like that.
Correct.
Which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
And I think
you're right. They're not taught about how to prepare.
Because everything is taught. So
yeah.
No matter how instinctual it is, everything needs to be taught.
Yeah. And well, you also have to be willing to learn. And so even if some people are taught, right? So when you retire, you retire as you. So if you're bad before retirement with planning, outside of money, but also inside of money, if you're bad at doing that before you retire, you're going to be bad at it after you retire. Right? So that's when people need to do some self-introspection and go, oh crap, I'm not very good at that. I better get good at that, because that's one of the skill sets I'm going to need after I retire.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So, it's interesting.
There's something else in mind.
What's up?
Unless you want to talk, about retirement?
No, go ahead. I'm done.
Okay. I have been thinking a lot about this. I don't know why, but I've been thinking about, I don't think we released this episode when we first started, but consciousness.
Yes.
Okay, it's gonna sound so dumb, but every time I look at a show or watch a YouTuber, or literally I'm talking to my husband and I'm just like, I'm mind blown in the fact that I don't know what they're thinking. Does that sound dumb?
Explain.
I know what I'm doing because I am me.
Yeah.
Okay. I know that I'm playing around with this hair clip.
Yeah.
Because that's what my body wants me to do.
Yeah.
For some reason, to calm anxiety or something. I don't know. I know what I'm doing. And I'm living my life in my lens and my perspective only, right? Which is completely normal. But then I look at other people and I'm just like, okay, wait. So you know the saying, you know that question, the philosophical question, when a bird is singing in the forest, is it actually singing, or is it singing, like, can we only hear it when we were there? Is that,
if a tree falls in the forest and nobody is around, does it still make a sound? Is that what you're talking about?
Okay, that sounds better. Thank you.
Yeah.
My brain isn't working today. It's that.
Yep.
But with humans.
Yeah,
does that make sense?
Yeah. So a human can think, but if there's action and nobody is around to see the action, is there really somebody there? Are they really doing it?
Like when I'm looking at a YouTuber on the screen, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, I know in the back end, okay, the whole thing, they took the time to research. They took the time to buy their camera. They took the time to do this and so forth. They did that, but I don't see that. So then a part of me thinks, like, a part of me then gets mind blown that there's someone out there that is doing that.
Yeah.
And 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 that's where the consciousness thing comes in, because you have to be conscious to move around in in your body and be conscious of what you were doing. And I just thought it was so interesting. I know it's basic thing, but it's just like,
What's
I
it's,
don't know what you're thinking. You don't know what I'm thinking.
I
I
want
don't know anything.
I wonder I wonder so today we have all of these capabilities to connect, all
Yeah.
right? Digitally at least, right? We have all these ways to communicate and connect, whether through the phone, whether through text, whether through YouTube, whether TV, whatever we Starlink, we can connect, all right? But so how did the ancients connect and have what a lot of people think was more connection between human beings, even though they were unable to connect with people outside of a very small geographic area that they lived in?
Are you talking about like the pyramids lining up somehow on the other
Well,
side of the world?
well, look, um, yeah, like how did these people, these ancient people, know the things that they know? Um, in where people didn't travel a lot because it was very difficult, and yet these small groups of people in South America, in Egypt, in Asia, they built buildings, they built things with unbelievable skill, right? Um, but remember, the population was very, very small. There was not a lot of travel. Nobody traded quote unquote technology like we do today. It was a slow process. It would have been a slow process, right? And so, how did they get good at doing that? How do people exchange that information? So, for example, if you go to South America, there's walls and stuff built out of stone where they're very tightly put together, right? But it's not in just one place. You go several thousand miles or several hundred miles, and there'll be another one built with the exact same way or the exact same technology. How did they transfer that? Who took that, and how long did it take them to do it? How many generations? Right? And so that people connection must have been extremely intense to transfer all that knowledge over distance, over time, over generations, and still have it keep that quality. Think about today. You can't even teach a welder, right? Or a bricklayer
Teach them what?
how to bricklay, how to lay bricks,
Oh,
build a house. And over the internet, let alone in person, and have really awesome quality like those people were doing. Do you see what I'm saying? So the connection between human beings must have been very, very precise. It must have been very, very efficient. And it must have been very, very intense.
mm,
You see what I'm saying?
yeah.
Because that was the only way to transfer knowledge, and they just simply couldn't travel or had no need to know of anybody else outside of that. But it seems that they really had these strong connections. Whereas today, that consciousness, that connection with other people, even though we're connected, that connection with other people is as thin as it's ever been, in my opinion. So the consciousness, the connection between people.
Okay, I agree, but I don't think you understand what I'm trying to say.
Maybe I don't.
What you're saying makes sense. Where you're going makes sense, but I think you're going on a different path than where I was going at. I don't know. Mine was more just an open-ended question.
Well,
It wasn't about connection. It's just more of um everything is energy, right? Everything. Energy cannot be created or nor destroyed.
yeah,
There's always constant energy flowing uh in this universe, and it's being passed and
between people,
between people and animals
connection.
and okay maybe, but even with that, I don't I will never know what you're thinking. I'll never know what he's thinking. I'll never know what somebody else is thinking, because oh my gosh, I can only be in my own body, in my own self. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
And
Yes.
then a part of me just is like, am I dreaming? Am I dreaming? Does it? Because sometimes it just doesn't make sense to me that you are here and I'm here.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Well,
It
that
just
I mean,
doesn't make
that's the question:
sense.
to be or not to be, right?
Yeah, but it's just like, guys, I'm just going through a weird
But
philosophical
no,
question.
but there are people that can read people intensely.
That's through body language
Yes,
and but I'm
but those
talking
number
about
of people are very few.
but I'm talking about like seeing a world in other
Uh,
lens.
yeah, well, that's not possible
But that's what I'm
yet.
saying is not that's I don't know. I'm just like
You have to recognize that other people have a
so
consciousness
crazy.
separate from your own, but there is a connection available. But it's at a different dimension. It's in a different place.
Isn't it weird that we can't exchange consciousness?
Well, twins. Some would argue
Oh,
that twins can at a
yeah.
certain level.
But isn't that interesting? I don't know. A part of me is like, why isn't it something that we can do? Why isn't it? Consciousness is just energy. Why can't you just do that?
Well,
Isn't it interesting?
maybe you can. You've seen Interstellar. Maybe at some point we'll be able to. I don't know.
Another part of me is like, I brought this up before too, not in this podcast, I think, but when you're dreaming, anything is, well, quote unquote,
Almost anything.
anything is possible. You get to fly, you get to do this. I can do magic, like I can things make things pop out of thin air in my
But
dreams.
okay,
But but only thing I can never do in my dreams is look at a world in somebody else's perspective.
okay. So, but if you could trade trade consciousness or read or understand what somebody else is thinking, would human relations get better or worse?
I don't know. I don't have an
Look,
answer to that.
we kill each other as human beings. We kill each other, right? And we um, we delegitimize, we dehumanize, we criticize the other side so that we can kill them without too much remorse.
Yeah.
Kill maybe unalive. I don't know. You're probably gonna have to edit that
I'm
out,
gonna
but
have to, yeah.
unalive people without too much remorse, right? The question is though, um, if we could, if we could read their consciousness or understand their, would we still do those things? I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
That's a world that we will never get to
But here's the
experience.
question: if we could, if we looked at other human beings as truly conscious people, okay, and I'm not talking about as an American looking at, say, an Iraqi or an Iraqi looking or a Muslim looking at a Jew or whatever, don't care. But if you could truly see somebody as a conscious human being uh, and be empathetic to their history, to their thoughts, to their environment, what a different world it might be. We might not be so quick to judge and kill each other or unalive each other.
Or or you might not even hate the dog as much.
Well, I still hate the dog because I don't want to trade consciousness with the dog. But you
But
know,
the connection you would have. Okay, now I see where the connection comes from. But the connection you would have with others
you know,
and everything around you would be powerful. And oh, you know that camera that now takes pictures of atoms? Like you can see the atoms because it zooms in so much.
I don't. But
No? Oh,
anyway,
what was that camera called? It's in the university somewhere. And they took a picture of a 3 millimeter metal, scrap metal, took a photo of it, and they zoomed in like
to the atoms.
to whatever it
Yep.
was, and you could see every individual atoms.
And there's space in between those atoms.
Yes.
And what's in between the atoms? Space, right? So everything's vibrating.
Yeah.
So the ancients and some of those ancient religions or thoughts or frequency, that kind of stuff. I think that we have lost a lot of that because we invent drugs and stuff. But I think there's a lot of truth to that kind of thing.
What do you mean? What does drugs have to do with anything?
Well, now instead of becoming one with, trying to understand ourselves or others through conversation and deep introspection, um, and dialogue. If we have a problem with somebody, with ourselves, we take drugs.
Oh, are you talking about like prescription, like, oh, here depressed, here's antidepressants,
Yeah,
kind of
well, that kind of
like
thing. But
a
even
quick
even
solve?
illnesses, right?
Yeah, so big pharma stuff.
Big pharma stuff. So
Okay,
if
okay.
I have a disease, disease is disease, right? So it's just something disturbed within me. We just fill ourselves with drugs. Well, the ancient folk people didn't do that. They didn't have the drugs. They used natural remedies, right? They didn't invent new chemical chains to muck up your brain chemistry.
Okay,
You
got
see what
it,
I'm
got
saying?
it, got it.
So I think there was a lot more of that, and in the old, in the old times. Well, actually, not too long ago, right? Medicine was part herbs and other things found in nature, but it was also how are you thinking? What right? What are you, especially outside of Europe where they never took baths, right? So
Oh, so gross.
right, so a lot of it was religion, right? Religion. So in some cases it worked, in some cases it didn't. But I think that consciousness and that understanding of other people's consciousness was at a deeper level in the old times.
Yeah.
But I think there are people today that are at that level. Love him or hate him, like Elon Musk. That guy's incredible. And then there's people on YouTube that can read other people very, very well.
I think that takes practice.
I'm sure you can
Like,
learn it.
I think you could be born with it, but everything is practice.
I'm sure you can learn most of it. But some of it, man, it's just that deep understanding, I think, of people.
Like, you know those cases where some people can, they see dead people.
Yes, you dead people, yeah.
And I know you're a skeptic, but there are cases where the police do get psychics or spiritual people to help them solve cases.
I'm a skeptic. I'm not an
So,
unbeliever
but um
or a non-believer.
and I'm sure those people to a certain extent do have
But
that very deep connection,
but here's the question.
because you have to be like in that energy.
But here's the question. If that is important to you and you see people that extol that energy, or okay, so now what are you going to do about it?
I think it's really hard to, it's not impossible, but it's very hard to be in that level today. In this world, it's very hard.
I agree. So what we'd rather do is watch YouTube of people that do that stuff instead of trying to learn how to be that way, even to another degree, one step better than we are today, of how to get there on our own, right?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's frustrating, me included. Me
Yeah.
included. You start off, you'll read some books, you'll get excited, and then it dies. So um, it's tough to get to those levels
Yeah.
just cause.
I try to meditate before I sleep.
Uh-huh. Put your
Not
phone
not
away.
not one
Turn your
of
phone
these
off.
like om kind of, but I just lay in bed because I have really poor circulation. My hands and feet are so cold.
Sound like my mother.
Um, yeah, my hands and feet are so cold that when I go to bed, Mutsu's side, so we don't share the blanket, so his side of the bed is already so warm, but mine is still a freezer. And I'm super cold on my side of the bed. But I like to meditate and focus my energy flow from my toes to the top of my head.
Does it work?
Yeah,
Yeah.
my body warms up instantly.
If you remember to do it.
And I do, because every day I'm cold.
Oh, yeah?
But I just imagine, I don't know how to explain it, but I just imagine warmth and heat and just the circulation of my body getting
Yeah.
better, and my body warms up quickly. If my mind is in that right space. If it isn't, it doesn't.
I mean, I have my
But
own story about that. I have an app that it's a guided sleep meditation.
oh, you're welcome.
You know the one, right? If I can't sleep and it's like 2 in the morning and I'm up for an hour, this guided meditation only takes 20 minutes, but I'm like, no, I'll just fall asleep on my own. And I can't. So it'll be 4 o'clock or I'll wake up at 1, whatever. I'll be up for an hour and a half. Finally, I'll just say, screw it. And I'll go find my earbuds, put them in, play it. And then I think it's exactly 22 minutes long.
Yoga Nidra.
That's it. And then it takes you through the guided meditation. And then I take my earbuds out. And then I'm asleep.
I can't believe you stay awake throughout the whole meditation. I fall
Oh
asleep
no, I fall
first
asleep. No, well, sometimes I do. Sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I do fall asleep. But it's weird because you've been up for an hour and a half, 2 hours. You put that in 20 minutes later, you're done.
Yeah, because you're just so in tune with your
Well,
body.
it takes you to every single piece of your
Yeah.
body, right?
Because it says, start off with the top of your
In
head.
between your eyes, the space under your eyes, your gums, your lips, everything.
Everything. And you're just like, oh, I never thought of
Wait,
that
oh yeah,
part
I
of my
have
body.
that place on my,
Yeah.
yeah. Like you don't think about it unless it hurts,
Yeah.
itches,
Yeah.
tickles,
Yeah.
right?
And you're just like, oh yeah.
Yeah, that is part of me.
Yeah. And then you just start thinking about it and you're feeling it and you're like, huh, I should pay more attention to my
Part
body.
of consciousness, right?
That's pretty cool.
Everybody has the same capability, the same consciousness, which is why I think if we went deeper with each other as human beings, we wouldn't be so quick to fight.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think you would have a different moral.
Things would be different. I don't know how they'd be different, but they would be different.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. We'll
Yeah.
see.
I think it's a good place to stop. Okay. I ate too much today.
Would you eat?
I made mochi bread and stuff.
Man, I got to go to the doctor.
We're done.
I gotta go to the doctor. I got some blood problem.
Yeah, I gotta go to the doctors too.
Brain damage?
No, I don't know, but some kind of damage. If you are a neurologist or a cardiologist, please let me know. I'm still waiting for Alberta Healthcare to help me. Okay, have a great day. Like and subscribe and leave a comment. Bye.